what is the key against Giannis here? Like, I do think that obviously, like, Giannis is, he's better than Durant. He's the best player in the world. He's unbelievable. He's, he can do whatever he wants out there. But I just, I don't think the Celtics obviously are going to take him out of his game the way they took Durant out of his game, because I think that, he ultimately with the Bucks, he has more around them. But I
Right.
do think that it's going to be kind of a similar situation where, and speaking in broad terms, Celtics approach is going to be to a certain extent, like, let Giannis do Giannis things. And if he's dropping 35, 40 points, every single night, the key is, especially with a Middleton out, we can't let the co-stars beat us. The Celtics decided we're going to take Durant out. And if, Goran Dragic, or if, Blake Griffin, or, like Seth Curry, or, Bruce Brown, you name it.
Bruce
Like, if,
Brown, what a
if
series.
yeah, like,
Oh
if,
my
if
God.
those guys beat us, so be it. But we're taking Durant out of this thing. We're going to stifle him. I almost, at least to me, I think it's the opposite here. I think you're kind of letting Giannis be Giannis, and you're not going to let, Pat Connaughton and Grayson Allen and, Drew Holiday and Bobby Portis and Brooke Lopez be the guys that beat you. To worry about, like, Giannis is going to eat in the paint. Like, that's just going to happen.
Right.
Even with Rob there, Giannis is going to eat. But if you don't allow him to kick out for all those 3-pointers the way that he typically does, I think you're going to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah. And you've still got to build a wall against them. That seems to be the operative term when you play Giannis. You stop him with the wall, because you want him to shoot. I mean, it is possible, especially the way these guys switch, that you can maybe turn him into more of a jump shooter than he wants to be. I mean, that would be the ideal situation. And that's where Rob Williams comes in huge. I mean, if you've got his presence at the rim, I think that plays a role, at least if he can get back up to
Right.
speed. Last week he was, pretty
Yeah, he was a
uncomfortable.
little off last week, but that's
Yeah.
shaking the rust off. With Giannis, the one thing I'm worried about, and it's interesting because I didn't know this. I didn't watch a ton of Bucks Bulls just because I kind of already knew the outcome. I mean, we all knew Bucks were going to win the series. You watch the Bucks to analyze a little bit and see how they look, But at the end of the day, I think I've seen enough of the Bucks to know that Giannis is going to do a lot of really tough things. But the thing that I found interesting, stopping Giannis is hard. And if you let him get in the paint, he's either going to finish through it or he's going to rack up foul trouble, which is where I'm concerned. But the one thing I found very interesting yesterday, and I didn't catch the final number, but Giannis had 12 offensive fouls in that series.
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
12. I don't know if he got
Yeah.
to 13. I know it's at least 12. If I'm Ime, I'm looking at that and saying, we have Marcus Smart, we have Derek White, we have two guys that are really good at taking charges and don't mind throwing their body out there. Grant's a guy that can move his feet pretty well. So I would look for that. If I'm Ime, I'm saying, hey, like, let's try and see if we can steal a foul or two on Giannis, because if you can get him out of the game in terms of foul trouble, and I'm not like, the other night in game 4, where I think, what did Seth Curry have 3 fouls in the first quarter? I know Tatum fouled out on a BS foul call at the end of the game. Right. If you can, Kyrie got in some foul trouble because he did the quick foul too early, and then all of a sudden he racked up 2 more later. If you can find a way to steal foul here and there, and find a way, because Giannis is going to play a ton of minutes anyway, but if you can find a way to get him off the floor a little earlier than they wanted to, that can be something you could exploit here to try and win those non-Giannis minutes, because it's very similar to the Nets and what Boston was going to try and do. I don't know if they totally did it all the time, is win the non-Durant minutes. They're going to definitely have to win the non-Giannis minutes to try if they're going to win this series. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy because they have other guys that can score, but trying to find ways to get Giannis off the floor and how to win those minutes is going to be, I think, pretty much the key to this series, is how well Boston can either take the lead, maintain the lead, lengthen their lead over Milwaukee, in those short minutes they do. Because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm expecting Giannis to play 38, 39, 40, 41, 42 minutes a game here. I mean, I know Bud has had some issues with that in the past. I know people have given him a lot of flack for that. For like, why are you playing Giannis 42 minutes in a do or die game 7 or whatever? But I think he might have learned that last year. And I think that's something that if I'm Ime and I'm Boston, I'm planning on them playing Giannis a lot. So how do you win the non-Giannis minutes? It's going to be huge.
It's I think Milwaukee, George Hill is out too, and I don't think there's any timeline on when he comes back. But Milwaukee's not shallow right now. They don't have a lot of depth. You got Connaughton and you got Grayson Allen. But that's kind of a small rotation.